Hey, what's up, guys? How's everybody doing today? So I got a chance to see Blade Runner 2049, and it's not a bad movie. I will never say it's a bad movie. However, I did leave the theater pretty fucking perturbed and a little bit angry. This movie is essentially like one of the most delicious steaks you've ever had in your life. It's chewy, it's delicious, it's cooked to perfection. Only problem is it's surrounded by fat, and so the money that you paid for it, you're really only paying for about 2/3 of a steak, and the rest of it's just the gooey, ugly, greasy part of it. And I went into it not knowing too much about the plot, so I'm gonna stick to that for right now. Basically, Ryan Gosling is a detective who's hired to kill these human-like androids, also known as replicants. And he has an altercation with a replicant fairly early on in the movie, and then further investigation uncovers a few things, and it leads to a whole bunch of other questions. But basically, it turns into this kind of mystery detective movie. Picture a 1,000-piece puzzle, and somebody's just putting it together one piece at a time, and the pace doesn't change. And that was kind of the problem that I had with the movie. It was very slow, which normally that's fine, because Denis Villeneuve does that a lot. Like, he did that with Arrival. It was very slow to start, but then it picked up later on. This movie, it kind of stayed the same pace throughout, which is kind of oddly innovative when you think about it. And some people might disagree with me, but in my opinion, there wasn't really an actual climax to the movie, and that kind of bugged me. Because the whole movie was basically this giant tension build, and there's really only 9 or 10 story points that are really, really, really important. In my opinion, some people might disagree. But personally, I think you easily could have shaved off a half hour of this movie because it was so dreadfully slow sometimes, and it was doing it just for the sake of being slow because the original was like that. And I don't have a problem with slow movies, and I don't have a problem with movies being long as fuck, but if a movie is unnecessarily long, or if it feels like it's missing something, I'm gonna comment on it. Because I love all 3 Lord of the Rings movies, and they are just as long as they needed to be. The Hobbit trilogy, not so much. But that leads me to a positive about the movie, is that the visuals were fucking stunning. Like, the $150 million plus budget that they had for this movie, you could see every dollar of it. And just the shit that they were able to capture, whether digitally or practically, was fucking amazing. Just the full spectrum that this movie covered visually was very stunning. If this movie does not win or get nominated for visual effects, CGI, set design, anything like that, I will be shocked. However, at a certain point, it just felt super pretentious, and the movie was just kind of sucking its own dick, and I was really annoyed by it. 2 hours and 20 minutes into it, it's like, okay, dude, I get it. This movie is visually epic and stunning. However, I know I'm really, really harping on this movie, but it's because I love the Blade Runner franchise so much. I read the original book. I own the 4-disc collector's edition of the original Blade Runner, and I felt let down after I came out of the theater, but after a couple days of mulling it over, I know for a fact there is a good movie in there. And I fucking love Denis Villeneuve. He is going to get a Best Director Academy Award one day. I am certain of it. And normally I don't say this, but Ryan Gosling was expertly cast in this movie, because I personally think he's a little bit overrated, and he's just kind of a pretty face, but he's kind of like Keanu Reeves. Because Keanu Reeves, I don't think he's a very good actor. But if you put him in that one role, that kind of silent, cool, calm, collect, badass role, for some reason he just annihilates it and kills it every time. I.e. The Matrix or John Wick. But overall, guys, I know for a fact that this is a well-made film and there's a lot of shit in there to digest. And somehow I feel like I didn't quite digest it all, so I'm gonna do something that I almost never do. I'm going to abstain from giving it a score for now until I watch it a couple more times. And some of you might be like, well, what the fuck, man? Almost every other movie you review you've seen only once. And that's true, but at the same token, this franchise is unlike every other franchise in the history of cinema. So in that respect, I feel like my viewing experience should be unlike most of the things that I view in the cinema. No franchise has a movie that's 35 years old, that was originally based on a sci-fi novel, was divisive to begin with, and then had 7 different versions of it released, only 3 or 4 of which I think are currently available to the public, slowly became a cult classic, and slowly made buku money over the course of time just from midnight screenings. And not only that, but this franchise from the start has so many philosophical concepts that not everybody can grasp even to this day. So if and when I do feel like giving this movie a score, I'll try to put a pinned comment or something in the description, because this movie definitely requires more than one viewing. Or hell, maybe I'll do a spoiler review, I don't know. But anyway, guys, those are my thoughts. What are your thoughts? Have you seen this movie? Were you psyched as fuck about it like I was? Hop in the comments, let me know what's up. Other than that, if you like this review, give me a like, subscribe, do all that other bullshit, and I will catch you guys later.